Ever notice how some people collect tattoos like Pokemon cards, while others won't even draw on themselves with a Sharpie?
Hey everyone, so here's the thing. We're living in the golden age of tattoos, right? Nearly half of young Americans have at least one tattoo. But that means the other half of us are walking around completely ink-free. And let me tell you, after diving deep into the research, the psychology behind staying tattoo-free is way more fascinating than you'd think. Today, we're going to unpack the minds of people who've never gotten inked. And spoiler alert, it's not just about being scared of needles or having strict parents. Stick around because some of these reasons might surprise you, and hey, you might even recognize yourself in here. All right, let's start with probably the most relatable group, the chronic overthinkers. You know these people. They've been thinking about getting a tattoo for like 7 years. They have 17 Pinterest boards dedicated to potential designs. They've consulted friends, strangers on Reddit, and probably a magic 8-ball at some point. Here's what's actually happening in their brains. These folks have what psychologists call a low tolerance for regret. And let me tell you, a tattoo is about as permanent as that embarrassing thing you said in 7th grade that still keeps you up at night. These are the people who need to make the perfect choice, not just a good one. The problem? With tattoos, there's literally infinite options. It's like being asked to pick your favorite grain of sand on a beach. Overwhelming doesn't even begin to cover it. We can call this the "what if I regret it" paradox. The anticipation of regret can be more paralyzing than actual regret itself. So instead of potentially regretting a tattoo, they just regret never getting one. It's like regret with extra steps. And here's the kicker. These are the same people who take 45 minutes to choose a Netflix show, then fall asleep before watching it. Their what-if thinking shows up everywhere, not just with tattoos. Now, let's talk about the people who are basically living in 2075 while the rest of us are here in 2026. These are the folks who genuinely can't get a tattoo because they're too busy thinking about 80-year-old them. And honestly, they might be onto something. Psychologist Jean Twenge and other researchers have found that people who avoid permanent body modifications tend to have stronger connections to their future selves. Most of us, we think of our future selves like strangers we're vaguely responsible for. Let me paint you a picture. The non-tattooed person looks at a cool dragon design and thinks, will retired me at 75 sitting in my rocking chair still vibe with this dragon? Meanwhile, the tattooed person thinks, dragon, now. There's actually research backing up their concerns too. Studies show that about a quarter of people with tattoos experience some level of regret. But here's the plot twist. Most of that regret isn't about having tattoos, it's about the specific design or placement. So the worriers might be worrying about the wrong thing entirely. These future-focused folks also tend to be the planners, the list makers, the people who actually read terms and conditions. They're high in what personality psychologists call conscientiousness. Basically, they think before they leap. If you're the type who meal preps on Sundays and has a 5-year plan, you're probably not the type to walk past a tattoo parlor and think, you know what, today feels like a good day for face ink.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because this group, they've thought about it differently than everyone else. For some people, not having tattoos is actually part of their identity. Wild, right? It's like a tattoo of nothingness. Stay with me here. Some people derive part of their identity from not modifying their natural appearance. Research shows that individuals who strongly value their natural self are significantly less likely to get tattoos, piercings, or even cosmetic procedures. And let's be real, in a world where nearly half of young people have tattoos, being tattoo-free is becoming its own form of rebellion. It's like the ultimate hipster move. Oh, you modified your body? How mainstream. I'm keeping mine original. But here's what's fascinating. These aren't necessarily people who judge others for having tattoos. The stereotype of the judgmental, tattoo-hating person? Mostly a myth. What they do value is consistency. They like their past self, present self, and future self to all match up. A tattoo represents a permanent change, and some brains just go, nah, we're good with version 1.0, thanks. Think of it like this. Some people update their phone the second a new iOS drops. Other people see that notification and think, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same energy, different canvas. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the needle in the tattoo parlor. Some people just really don't want to be repeatedly stabbed with tiny needles for hours. And you know what? Valid. People have vastly different pain thresholds, and it's not just about toughness, it's literally neurological. Some people's brains process pain signals differently.
So when someone says, I could never get a tattoo, it would hurt too much, they might be medically, scientifically correct.
But beyond physical pain, there's commitment anxiety. Some people experience genuine anxiety around permanent commitments, whether that's a marriage, a mortgage, or a moth tattoo on their shoulder. Here's something interesting. People who avoid tattoos often avoid permanent decisions in other areas too. They rent instead of buy, they keep their options open career-wise, they're the let's see where this goes people of the world. And honestly, in our rapidly changing world, maybe they're adapting better than the rest of us. Jobs change, styles change, we change. The average person changes careers 5 to 7 times in their lifetime, according to labor statistics. These folks are just keeping their options open, skin included. There's also the practical crowd, people who worry about professional implications. And while workplace attitudes toward tattoos have shifted dramatically, a 2021 study still found that visible tattoos could hurt job prospects in certain fields. So maybe they're not avoiding commitment, maybe they're just really committed to their career prospects. Here's our last group, and they might be the most interesting of all, the people who haven't found something meaningful enough yet. These are the folks who say, I'd get a tattoo, but only if it really means something. And then, nothing ever means enough. Their standards are basically, I'll get inked when I find something more important than my own existence. Research shows that people who get meaningful tattoos report higher satisfaction levels than those who get decorative ones. But here's the thing, the people who never get tattoos, they're using that same logic to not get them. It's like they're waiting for the meaning equivalent of a lightning bolt from the universe. Sorry, the birth of my children, my life philosophy, and my dead grandmother's favorite flower aren't quite significant enough. I'll wait for something really important. The irony? By waiting for perfect meaning, they've made the absence of tattoos meaningful in itself. It's like some kind of philosophical inception situation. And you know what? Maybe that's perfectly fine. Maybe the search for meaning is the meaning. Or maybe they just really, really don't want a tattoo and they've created an intellectually sophisticated reason for it. Either way, we have to respect the commitment to indecision. So there you have it, the psychology of people who never get tattoos. Whether you're a chronic overthinker, a future-focused planner, an identity preservationist, a practical realist, or an eternal meaning seeker, you're not alone, and there's actual science backing up your blank canvas lifestyle. And hey, maybe you're a mix of all of these. Maybe you're tattoo-free for reasons I didn't even cover. Or maybe you just haven't gotten around to it yet, and that's fine too. The beautiful thing, whether you're covered in ink or rocking the au naturel look, you're still out here being human, making choices and overthinking things like the rest of us. The tattooed people are just overthinking with more color involved. If you related to any of these, let me know in the comments which type you are, or if you're tattooed, which one of these was your friend who still hasn't gotten that tattoo they've been talking about since 2019. They know who they are. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.